Imagine racing at 180 miles per hour, inches away from death, making split-second decisions that could end your career in a heartbeat. Now imagine walking away from all of that to spend 48 hours alone in America's most haunted asylum. That's exactly what CJ Faison did, and honestly, when I first heard his story, I thought someone was messing with me. A Nascar driver who became a millionaire businessman who then decided to become one of YouTube's most fearless ghost hunters. Come on, that sounds like something out of a movie, right? But here's the crazy part, it's all true. And the reason he can do things that would absolutely terrify most paranormal investigators isn't just because he's brave. It's because of something most people don't know about him. Something that happened years before he ever set foot in a haunted building. See, most YouTubers are desperately chasing views to pay their rent, but CJ, he's got something that gives him a massive advantage that almost no other content creator has. And when you understand what it is, his entire approach to paranormal investigation suddenly makes perfect sense. This isn't just another YouTuber success story. This is about a guy who figured out how to turn fear into fuel, how to build multiple million-dollar businesses by his 20s, and why his background as a professional race car driver actually makes him the perfect person to investigate places where most people wouldn't dare to go alone. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see career changes in a completely different way. So stick around, because CJ Faison's journey is about to blow your mind. So let's start at the beginning. CJ Faison was born on August 31st of 1993 in Felton, Delaware. And look, if you've never heard of Felton, Delaware, don't feel bad, most people haven't. We're talking about a town with less than 1,500 people, the kind of place where the biggest excitement on a Friday night might be the high school football game. But here's what's fascinating about small towns like Felton. They either crush your dreams, or they forge them into something unbreakable. And from everything I've learned about CJ's early life, it's clear which direction he went. See, Felton isn't just small. It's the kind of small where everyone knows everyone's business, where big dreams can feel impossible, and where most kids grow up thinking their options are limited to whatever their parents did or whatever jobs are available within a 20-mile radius. It's rural Delaware, surrounded by farmland and quiet roads, where the pace of life moves at about the speed of a Sunday drive. But even as a kid, CJ wasn't wired for slow and steady. While other kids in Felton were content with video games and hanging out at the local convenience store, CJ was already showing signs of what would become his defining characteristic, an absolute refusal to accept limitations. Now, I couldn't find a ton of details about his specific childhood experiences, but what I do know tells us everything we need to know about who he was becoming. This wasn't a kid who was going to be satisfied with a safe, predictable life. This was someone who was already developing that go big or go home mentality that would define literally every major decision he'd make as an adult. Think about it. To even consider becoming a professional race car driver when you're from a tiny town in Delaware, you have to have a certain type of fearlessness built into your DNA. Most kids from small towns dream small because that's what feels realistic. But CJ, he was dreaming about speeds that would terrify most adults. And here's what's really important to understand about this foundation. The same personality traits that made a small town kid think he could make it in NASCAR are the exact same traits that would later make him think, you know what? I'm gonna spend 2 straight days alone in a haunted asylum and film the whole thing. We're talking about someone who, from a very young age, had this internal compass that pointed towards whatever seemed most challenging, most unlikely, most impossible. While other kids were learning to play it safe, CJ was learning to lean into fear. His education at Salisbury Christian School probably played a role in shaping his work ethic and discipline. But most importantly, it seems to have instilled in him a strong sense of personal responsibility and the belief that you create your own opportunities. There's actually a quote that perfectly captures his mindset. It's his personal motto. Nothing in life is free except your last name and a chance to make something of it. Let that sink in for a second. Nothing in life is free except your last name and a chance to make something of it. That's not the mindset of someone who's planning to settle for average. That's the mindset of someone who understands that everything worth having requires work, risk, and the willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. And when you grow up in a place like Felton, Delaware, with that kind of mentality, you either stay and become the biggest fish in a very small pond, or you leave to try and swim with sharks. CJ chose sharks. But here's what makes his foundation so crucial to understanding his later success. It wasn't just about being fearless, it was about being strategically fearless. Even from a younger age, CJ seemed to understand something that most people never figure out. The biggest risks often come with the biggest rewards, but only if you're smart about how you take them. This early foundation of fearlessness, combined with small-town work ethic and a refusal to accept limitations, created the perfect psychological blueprint for someone who would later transition from NASCAR racing to business ownership to paranormal investigation without missing a beat.
Alrighty. Alright. Alright, here we go. I'm going to turn this on here, and then I'm also going to use the Necrophonic app again and just see if we can pull anything out. See if we can pull any information out of here. Alright. Okay, obviously right now we're getting a pretty good reading, seems like, here on the... I want to know your name. What was your name? Dan? It sounded like Dan twice. Who is haunting this family that lives here? It almost sounded like a oh. What is your name? Almost sounded like a Chris? I don't know. What is your name? Who are you? Can you tell me why you are haunting this family? Tell me why. Can you answer my questions? Are you willing to communicate with me? And what? Or Dan. I feel like the name Dan has come up a couple times. Is your name Dan? Jump? It said jump twice, and that sounds dirty. Did something else bad happen here? Bed. It just said bed. Did something happen on this bed? Did something happen on this bed that I'm sitting on right now? Was that a yes? Pressure. Oh! Hello?
Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Sonny? That wasn't you then. Yo, my freaking door just slammed, bro. My door just slammed closed. What's your name? Who slammed the door? Oh my gosh, the candles just came on.
Because when you've grown up believing that your only limits are the ones you accept, switching careers doesn't feel impossible. It feels like the next logical challenge. When you spent your childhood in a place where everyone knows everyone, performing under pressure doesn't always feel overwhelming. It feels familiar. So by the time CJ was ready to leave Felton and chase his racing dreams, he wasn't just leaving with talent or ambition. He was leaving with something much more valuable, an unshakable belief that he could succeed at whatever he set his mind to, no matter how unlikely it seemed to everyone else. And that foundation, it was about to be put to the ultimate test in the high-speed, high-stakes world of professional NASCAR racing. So picture this, you're 18, 19 years old, from a town most people have never heard of, and you've just decided you're going to compete in one of the most dangerous, most competitive sports in America. That's exactly what CJ Faison did when he entered the world of professional NASCAR racing. Now when I say NASCAR, most people think they know what that means. They picture cars going fast, turning left, maybe some crashes on TV. But let me paint you the real picture of what CJ was stepping into, because until you understand the sheer insanity of professional stock car racing, you can't appreciate just how much mental toughness this guy was developing. We're talking about driving a 3,400-pound machine that's heavier than most pickup trucks, at speeds consistently over 180 miles per hour. And you're not alone out there. You've got 39 other drivers doing the exact same thing, sometimes separated by literally inches of space. One tiny mistake, one moment of hesitation, one wrong calculation, and you're not just out of the race. You could be out of your career, or worse. CJ competed in two of NASCAR's most competitive series, the Camping World Truck Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Now for those who don't follow racing, these aren't the minor leagues. These are proving grounds. The Xfinity Series is literally one step below the Cup Series, which is the absolute top level of NASCAR. Let me put this into perspective with some numbers that will blow your mind. In a typical NASCAR Xfinity race, drivers are making split-second decisions at speeds where they're covering about 264 feet every single second. That's almost the length of a football field, every single second. And they're doing this while calculating aerodynamics, tire wear, fuel consumption, track position, and the behavior of 39 other drivers who are all trying to beat them. But here's what's really crazy, the physical demands are just the beginning. NASCAR drivers experience G-forces up to 3.5 Gs in the corners. To put that into context, astronauts experience about 3 Gs during launch. So CJ was basically experiencing astronaut-level physical stress for hours at a time, while making life-or-death decisions at 180 miles per hour. Research shows that NASCAR drivers have reaction times that are 40% faster than average people. Their heart rates during races regularly hit 150 to 180 beats per minute. That's marathon runner levels of cardiovascular stress. And their core body temperature can rise to dangerous levels because they're wearing full fire suits in cockpits that regularly reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit. But the mental game, that's where the real magic happens. Sports psychologists who study NASCAR drivers have found that they develop something called selective attention under extreme stress. Basically, their brains learn to process massive amounts of information while filtering out distractions that could literally...
They say you hear voices, you see shadow figures, all kinds of stuff. Well, me, Dylan, and Chris, we're going to go here into the mansion. It's actually believed that previous owners, they kind of had a bad reputation. The owners now are extremely, extremely nice. Greg is one of the nicest people I've ever met. And he's letting us just go in any and every building on this property, which is so incredible of him. But this house here, mansion I should say, is like 4 times bigger than most people's houses are today. And this was way back then. And a lot of bad stuff happened here with the previous owners. It was rumored that if you came on this property, that there are people who are still missing to this day who never left the property, that were trespassing. Not with the current owner, the previous owner. That's just the stories that were speculated, but we're gonna... Oh!
Holy shit.
What the f was that? Is somebody in there?
There's no way he was in here.
Let me start recording this.
Bro, what the hell?
Hello? Hello? We got split up. Somebody take the basement.
I got it.
Alright, Tom. That was me.
Hello? Hello?
Guys! Okay. The door just moved. I'm not even kidding. On everything right now, dude, that door. If something grabbed my foot, I'm gonna catch a heart attack. I'm telling you. Look, there's supposed to be a chain here for a reason. Yeah.
Hold the chains up, maybe you shouldn't go.
Holy shit. Dude, it is huge. Ghosts and demons, please do not grab me. I swear I'm nice. Dude, there's more doors.
Yeah, what's down there?
There's doors galore. Hang on, there's a door. Holy shit. There's just more tunnels.
No way.
Oh! Me, man! What the was that? I'm done.
Holy.
That was
wild.
stupid.
Hell no, man. So there were more tunnels down there?
I'm all the way that way. I don't know what's that way, but there's something that way. The door that I opened literally slammed shut. 6 feet from it. As soon as I said, oh, there's a door down here, I started walking away. I don't know if y'all can hear it on camera.
It was very loud.
The door slammed.
Yeah,
There's no hinge on that thing. There's no hinge on that.
No way.
I want to show you all. I really want to show you all, but I don't want to go down there. One of y'all come with me?
Sure.
Dude, I've only had 3 doors in my entire life slam. Like that. I've had doors close, but that was like...
It was slammed.
That wasn't... It's like it just stood open. There's nothing to close that door. I don't think. Whew, I feel like I'm gonna get sick. I'm like working myself up.
I can't run out of there like you, man, so you gotta...
You good, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm alright.
The door's back open.
Get the
I swear, dude, the door's halfway back open. Come down here. You good, Dylan?
Yeah. Oh my god.
You see what I mean? That was that door right there. Okay, it does have a hinge on it. Maybe that's why it slammed.
Take a lot of force.
That's how I opened it.
Get the...
Oh!
Dylan!
Dylan, you good? Bro,
Hold on, come on.
what the is happening right now? Dylan, you good? Bro. What the is happening right now?
You okay?
Go.
There's something down this hallway.
What happened?
It's down one of these hallways. You guys know a cardiologist? I'm gonna need one after tonight.
I don't even feel like I'm in my own body right now. I really don't. It's like an out of body experience. This is the strangest thing I've ever felt. I want to go down that tunnel.
CJ was building an immunity to fear that most people will never develop. When you spent years making life or death decisions while traveling at 3 times highway speed, very few things in normal life feel genuinely scary anymore. And that immunity to fear, that superhuman ability to stay calm under pressure, that strategic mindset developed at 180 miles per hour, all of that was about to become incredibly valuable in ways CJ couldn't have imagined. Because eventually, like every NASCAR driver, CJ had to face a reality that his racing career couldn't last forever. But unlike most retired racers who struggle to figure out what comes next, CJ had developed a set of mental tools that were about to prove incredibly valuable in the business world. So here's CJ, fresh out of his NASCAR career, and he's facing the same brutal reality that hits every professional athlete. What do you do when the thing that defined your entire identity is suddenly over? Most retired athletes struggle with this transition. Studies show that up to 35% of former professional athletes experience serious depression after retirement because they feel lost, purposeless, like they don't know who they are anymore. But CJ Faison? He looked at this challenge completely different. While other retired racers were asking, what am I supposed to do now? CJ was asking, what can I build with everything I've learned? And that difference in mindset is everything. Because instead of seeing retirement as an ending, CJ saw it as the beginning of something even bigger. His first move was absolutely brilliant, and it shows you exactly how this guy's brain works. He looked at his set of skills, deep technical knowledge about cars, understanding of high-performance automotive systems, connections throughout the racing and automotive world, and he didn't just try to get a job using those skills, he built a business around them. Enter the Delaware Auto Exchange. CJ didn't just start any business, he created an auto auction company and positioned himself as the president. Now this wasn't some small-time used car lot. Auto auctions are serious business, dealing with dealers, collectors, and automotive professionals who know exactly what they're looking at. But here's what made CJ perfect for this industry. He had credibility that you can't fake. When you've spent years understanding the mechanical intricacies of race cars, when you know what makes a high-performance vehicle tick, when you've built relationships with people throughout the automotive world, you're not just another businessman trying to make money off cars, you're someone who actually understands what you're selling. And the skills he developed in NASCAR, they transferred perfectly. The ability to make quick, accurate assessments under pressure, that's exactly what you need when you're evaluating vehicles for auction. The strategic thinking required to position yourself competitively during a race, that translates directly to positioning your business in the market. But here's where CJ's business intelligence really shows. He understood something that most entrepreneurs miss completely. He didn't put all his eggs in one basket. While the Delaware Auto Exchange was growing, CJ was simultaneously building 2 other companies, Jetty Media Group and Motivated Eyewear. Think about the strategic genius of this for a second. He's diversifying across completely different industries, automotive auctions, media production, and retail fashion accessories. This isn't luck. This is someone who learned from racing that you always need backup plans, multiple strategies, different ways to win. In NASCAR, you don't just have one strategy for the race. You have a strategy for qualifying, a strategy for the beginning of the race, a strategy if there's a caution flag, a strategy if your tires start wearing out. CJ was applying that same multi-layered strategic thinking to business. Research on successful entrepreneurs shows that the ones who build lasting wealth don't rely on a single income source. They create multiple revenue streams that can support each other and protect them if one industry has problems. CJ was doing this instinctively, probably because his racing background taught him that anything can happen, and you better be prepared for every possibility.
What are you doing?
I got hungry. I was hoping it wasn't gonna wake you up. I'm almost half open.
What? We just ate freaking pizza a few hours ago.
Just let me finish the bag of pretzels, okay? I'm truly hungry.
Oh.
Listen, short of putting them on the bed, I don't know what else to do. Want one?
No, thank you.
Sonny. I do or not? No joke. Tell me the thing did not just rattle, bro.
Was it the doorknob rattling or you crunching?
No,
I had a pillow over my head. I couldn't hear.
I'm telling you right now, it's a doorknob, dude. I'm that close to the doorknob. I know exactly what that would sound like. That is a doorknob. My camera is still recording. Oh my gosh. Hour and 52 minutes has been recording.
Yo. Ain't nothing going on. There ain't no freaking soul or a ghost in sight. I'm telling you, it sounded like this. It sounded like this. Something along those lines. Oh, wow. Yeah, it literally sounds like something like this. Like just like a... Bro, that was weird.
The psychological aspect is what really set him apart. Studies on fear response show that people who have experienced managing extreme stress in one context can transfer those skills to completely different situations. CJ's years of managing fear at 180 miles per hour had essentially inoculated him against normal fear responses. Think about what this means practically. When you're investigating a location that's supposedly haunted, 90% of the challenge is mental. It's about staying calm enough to think clearly, objective enough to document accurately, and brave enough to stay when every instinct is telling you to leave. For most people, that's incredibly difficult. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing gets shallow, your thinking gets cloudy, and your fight or flight response starts screaming at you to get out of there. But for CJ, walking into a dark, allegedly haunted building probably felt familiar. Not because he'd done it before, but because he'd spent years training his nervous system to stay calm when everything around him suggested he should be terrified. So what can we learn from CJ Faison's incredible journey? First, your skills are more transferable than you think. The mental toughness from bracing, the strategic thinking from business, these didn't disappear when he started ghost hunting. They became his secret weapons. Second, financial independence isn't just about money, it's about creative freedom. Research shows that people who create for intrinsic motivation rather than external pressures produce significantly higher quality content. And finally, there's no rule that says you can only be one thing. CJ is living proof that you can be a racer and a businessman and a paranormal investigator, and actually be better at each because of the others. Head over to CJ Faison's YouTube channel and subscribe. The guy obviously deserves it. Thank you for watching another episode of the Horror Expo, and I appreciate your time. If you enjoy content like this, please give it a like and subscribe, as every little bit helps. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.